Greetings, Star Citizens, and welcome to Flight Deck. This is a weekly podcast about Star Citizen and other gamer culture topics. I'm your host, Link Static MDK, and with me as always is Paper Thin.
Hey guys.
So this week, we're a little bit late. My fault. I was working on Wednesday, so that's why we're releasing on a Sunday. Also, we're talking about changing up the format a little bit to make it more cohesive.
Yeah.
We'll go with cohesive, though. That's not the word.
Streamlined.
Streamlined?
Maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Little less like repetitiveness. Trying to.
Yeah, especially since there's not a whole lot of new information coming out recently. We'll, just try and streamline it for us to just get the highlights.
Get you the important stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this week we're talking about the Galactic Guide OSO system, Around the Verse episode 52, FPS update 10 for the producers episode 9, and OP.NET due diligence. So let's talk about the OSO system. So this is have we heard about the OSO system previously? I don't know. I don't recall.
Yeah, I can't remember hearing about it too much.
So, OSO system, it's a Type F star system. There's several planets in there. But the thing of note that they were talking about was there's an actual primitive race on OSO 2. So that's, interesting.
We're going to violate the Prime Directive.
Well, they call it the Fair Chance Act, whatever the hell that means. I assume that's just fair chance. Let's not wipe out an entire civilization just because we're dicks. Fair chance.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't read the Fair Chance Act, but I assume that's the gist of it, right?
It's got to be something close to that.
Right. We do not interfere with alien civilizations unless it's plot-oriented, and we need a new thing or situation to put Riker or Picard in this week. And then we violate the Prime Directive, but we have a very good reason for it.
Yeah, it always makes sense. I mean, sometimes you just have to do it,
We can't let Wesley die because he's an idiot. I mean, violate the Prime Directive. That was an episode of The Next Generation.
I remember that one.
Yeah. Oh, God. So, the OSO system, OSO 1 is a tidally locked. Sun side is lava. Night side is like black iron planet. That would be cool. When they said that, I kind of thought of like the Chronicles of Riddick and, the prison world where like when the sun's on it, it just goes and explodes with gases and all that junk.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I would like to see this planet. I will try and visit it, except for the whole military blockade of the system, but whatever.
Well, what we should do is we should take over the military base, and then to execute all of the military personnel that we capture, we should take them to this planet and like march them from the cold side to the hot side so they vaporize.
Man, you really thought that one out.
Well,
a little concerned.
Wait. That wasn't what you were thinking too? I thought that was just common like thoughts that people had. Of course that's what you would do, right?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah.
You know those studies where they're like you might be a, serial killer if you think, if this is somehow I always pass those studies with flying colors. I don't know why. Anyway, moving on.
Yep, moving on.
OSO 2, that's where like we mentioned, the primitive society, they're called the Osoians, I guess?
Sure.
They have a higher than Earth gravity, but not a lot more information was really displayed about them. I think they said they had multiple limbs and crap like that, so cool. Currently being studied by the UEE, but it's limited due to the Fair Chance Act that we previously mentioned, so that's probably like, oh, we have a telescope and we're looking at them from like far away, type studying, not any direct interactions.
Right. That's basically what it sounded like, because they don't ever get too close to the planet to observe it.
Although it's kind of meta, like, if we're the ones with flying saucers going and anal probing aliens in another world, it's like, oh, they have their version of like Area 52 and like, Roswell and all that crap because of us.
And I mean, and if you think about it, it's kind of interesting because they heavily imply that a lot of ships get through to OSO anyway and get stuff off of it.
Like, could you imagine like how terrifying it would be to see a human when you've never seen a human before in your life? Like,
we're ugly. We're these pink sacks of shit. Like,
beady tiny little eyes, some weird style hair too. Like you could have a punk rocker style dude showing up with like green spiky hair every which way, and that's like the first human they've ever seen, so they think that's indicative of all humans.
That's gonna happen someday. Like when humanity reaches out into the stars, some dude's gonna be traveling around and he's gonna be like super hipster. He's gonna be like, yeah, like 5,000 years ago, the punks were awesome, and have like a mohawk and make first contact with some race. And they're gonna think we're really fucking weird.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. You always wonder, like, what about the aliens that we supposedly get visited by? How do we know they're not just like weird sexually deviant aliens that like probing people in the butt with metal tubes? But like most aliens are like, dude, that's fucked up. You know? We have no idea. There's no context.
It's true. We haven't.
This is why we're friends. This conversation right here is why we're friends.
It's just what you said. Those other aliens, like, dude, that's fucked up. I just get this picture of like this giant alien head with like black eyes, just kind of like, looking down on his friend,
shaking
like,
his head side to side, derisively.
Like, you would do that?
Damn it, Steve! Now they're gonna think we're all like that. It's like, what? It was funny.
Yeah, it was worth it.
And then you got moving on. And then you also have Oso 3, which is a gas giant. Which this was like a little bit interesting because they said, oh, you know, it's in line with Earth and how scientists believe that these gas giants act as a shield to protect these planets, so that the life forms can evolve because they intercept a lot of the asteroids, comets, etc. You know, I've heard that talked about too as to why we have life because of the gas giant in our star system. So yeah, that's interesting.
And an unusually thick atmosphere helps break up a lot of the asteroids that could do some damage too. I mean, not nearly as much.
See, this is my problem when we say stuff like unusually. How do we know that's unusual? It could be common as hell. You know, we've only seen so many planets, you know.
That's true. I mean, we might have a solar system where asteroids are very rare, but in other solar systems, for the most part, big-ass asteroids just flying around wreaking havoc are totally normal.
Or there could be some solar systems where they have almost no asteroids in them at all, and they don't need a gas giant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's always my thing about, like, how do we know this is normal? We know it's normal from like our small sample size, but we don't know if that's normal as a whole.
Right.
I don't know.
We just make educated guesses.
Yeah. Well, we also have Oso 4, which is a mined out. Used to be rich gemmed and mineral planet, but it's all mined out, which. Of course.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as there's something we can exploit, humanity will exploit it. So
right.
I felt that was very poignant, and yeah.
So I mean, it kind of begs the question for me, like, if you think about it, most of the systems that they've done for galactic guides, very few have planets that are like resource rich.
Yeah, it sounds like most of the resources are in the asteroids or stuff like that.
Yeah, or maybe they're just planning on releasing new systems fairly frequently. Just be like, oh, here's a brand new system. Look, it has a ton of resources to exploit. Go do it.
Well, this is like, this is the thing, because humanity has been at this stage traveling the stars for a couple of centuries. So of course we'd have mined out and like exploited a lot of what we've explored and colonized at this point. You know, it's what we do. So yeah, will that allow the exploration profession to be fairly useful? The, what do they call them? Not privateers, but pilgrims or some stuff. I forget what they call them, but it's the exploration class that they're trying to go with.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. For some reason, I want to say conquistadors, but that's not right. That's
I definitely know that's not right.
That's exploration with a little something else.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't know. I'm kind of on the. Of course, it makes sense that all this stuff would be mined out, but hopefully, like with that exploration and so forth, we'll be able to find new systems, and with those new systems, new minerals, etc.
Right. That's what I'm hoping for too.
Yeah. Two of the stations I mentioned, there was a Station Chimera, which is Oso's rotating military contingent. They're kind of charged with protecting the system from outside interference, and it hosts a lot of their burnouts, etc. And there's a lot of stuff that they listed with that going. We've got all of this corruption and all these issues that come up with it, and apparently it's like well known that there's corruption, and letting people go through and, you know, deal with the aliens on Oso 2 or do whatever that they really shouldn't be letting them do, etc.
Right, it's like, hey, we have this Fair Chance Act, but meh.
It's only really a law if you enforce it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't that's kind of interesting to me. So could you potentially bribe military officials? And this is just in the general game, and in general, could you be bribing military officials on other worlds and planets to let you do stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that's probably going to be the case.
That yeah, that adds a whole new layer of like piracy and shady backroom deals, which I kind of enjoy. But at the same time, there should be certain places where that just does not happen. You know, certain
Right.
safe areas.
Yeah, I agree. I think there will be kind of a slider for it. Like obviously Oso is going to be higher on the easier end to, bribe people and stuff, whereas maybe Terra is going to be like nearly impossible unless you fork over, millions of credits or whatever.
Right. Well, and the thing about Oso too is they're supposedly like cracking down on it and all this stuff too. So maybe it's not easy there anymore. Who knows?
Right.
Oso 5 they mentioned was an ice giant. Oso 6 is a dwarf planet. Not a real lot to note on either of those. They also mentioned there's a Kovalex shipping hub in the outer reaches of the system because apparently a lot of freighters will go through the system on their way to somewhere else.
Yeah, you can go on the outside of the system, like can travel freely. You just can't get in beyond Oso 5, I think. Oso 5 is like about as far as you're allowed to go, or maybe it's the Station Chimera.
I bet that's like the cutoff. You have to, if you want to go in, you have to first stop at Station Chimera, or
Yeah.
they'll send ships out after you, that type of thing.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Which makes me wonder, how big of a station is this? Is this something that like a pirate group could take over and use, or is it like, a massive fortress?
It's going to have to be pretty massive, I would think. I mean, you can't just have some small station outside of a habitable planet. The pirates are just going to be all over that. I imagine it's going to be big.
So that makes me wonder, like, what's their military contingent there? Is it like, 6 squadrons of fighters, or is it like a squad of fight? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I would imagine a couple, maybe like a destroyer and, you know, 5, 6 squadron of fighters, maybe. I don't know.
So
Just
small,
spitballing.
small enough that like they're not wasting a ton of money, but big enough that like it's not worth the effort to try and take.
Yeah, that would be.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was the OSO system, which it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I don't think the system itself is particularly interesting. Just like the inhabitants and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So then we also had Around the Verse episode 52. So this week we had, we're just gonna highlight the stuff because the problem with these Around the Verse episodes is it's a lot of the same every single week and just no real update, general information.
We're still working on the same things we've been working on for the
Right,
last month.
Yeah, or 2 or 3
Yeah,
or
yeah.
forever. Yeah. So Empire Report they had again, great. Really the only story we felt we wanted to highlight from that was the Tavaran candidate, Suj Kasi, I think they said.
Yeah.
So, that's cool. I don't really know enough about the Tavarans though to say, is this good or bad? Those no good Tavarans or those poor Tavarans that have suffered greatly. I don't have a political opinion on it in game.
Yeah, well, and I think it brings up an interesting thing that I hadn't really thought about, that there are going to be other alien races that, are allowed to take part in the UEE government. So I didn't. That's the reason I thought it was kind of interesting. I didn't really realize that was going to be the case.
Well, I think they'd mentioned like a little while ago, either in a dispatch report or something, that there was a Tavaran candidate. But if he's getting Empire Report coverage, then that means to me that he's being taken as a serious candidate. It's not like, oh, there's this token Tavaran candidate, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Exactly.
I wonder if that's going to be like an in-game thing. You can help him get elected or keep him from being elected based on what your actions.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, like 51% of the players decide to help him get elected by doing missions, and so he gets elected, or 51% or more of the players decide to like screw over his election so he doesn't, and then the Tavaran are all downtrodden and angry, and that leads to like open revolt in some places, that type of thing.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, we'll see if they go with it. Intro-wise, they also mentioned that the PCAP performance capture is finished shooting. I thought they said they still had like a month and a half on that, so that's kind of surprising. I didn't think it would be so quick.
Yeah, it felt like they still had some more time to go, but maybe they figured out a way to wrap it up quick, or we just start paying enough attention to it. I don't know.
I don't know. I could have sworn like 2 weeks ago it was a month and a half left of shooting, and now they're done. So I don't. Whatever.
Yeah.
Great.
There's probably more shooting to do. Maybe green screening at this point. I don't know.
Oh, well, yeah, they did just say the PCAP's finished shooting, so I wonder if the mocap is considered different from the PCAP. Like they're not combined, so they're still doing a bunch of mocap shooting, but not any more PCAP shooting.
That could be.
So I don't know.
I don't know anything about like filming, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's the little things you pick up here or there, but neither of us have worked professionally in the movie industry, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I held a boom mic once for a amateur movie. That's
I did
my...
too.
Yes, that's right.
Same amateur movie. I think I was your replacement because you couldn't make it.
Yep, that's probably true.
There you go.
High five.
Oh, and then that same amateur movie, there was like this little miniature fight scene between a couple of the characters, and I was just like, "Oh, this is so terrible."
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, let's not talk about that.
Moving on. So they did Spectrum News like they always do, where they go to the various studios and get a general, this is what we're working on. And, you know, it's the same general crap that they've been working on for months. But some of the cool stuff that they highlighted, in Santa Monica, Darian and Eric were talking about how the developers have been implementing a lot of that player feedback. So they went on the forums, talking to people, playing against people, just to get, okay, we think these missiles suck for this reason. We think this weapon is underpowered. We think this weapon's overpowered. Maneuverability on this ship isn't quite up to par. This ship seems a little bit too squishy. That general type of information. And they're taking all of that now, going back and doing overall balancing and reconfiguring and so forth. So, hooray. And one of the major pushes I think that came out of that too is the 300 series.
Yep.
They've made those free to fly this week, and they're just completely rebalancing the 300 series. And we've talked previously about the 300 series and how underpowered they feel compared to other ships in the same role.
Yep.
I mean,
I totally agree.
Once you released like the Mustang and the Avenger and all this stuff, the 300 series kind of felt like crap, frankly. Like,
yeah,
we knew how it related to a Hornet because we had the 300 series and the Hornet. And we had like Aurora, and we knew a 300 was better than Aurora and worse than a Hornet. But then they started adding all these other ships in, and it was like, well, the 300 series sucks compared to a lot of these other ships.
Yeah, and there are times when you might want an Aurora instead of a 300, like in a dogfight, because it can hold more guns.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know about this. I mean, it's great for racing. It's it's a great racing ship, but.
Like, I always felt like the 300 was my favorite ship in terms of, like, an overall balance perspective. Like, it's not great at any one thing. It's kind of a jack-of-all-trades ship, right?
Right.
Whereas an Aurora, it's a starter ship. Yeah, it's the same jack-of-all-trades ship, but it's nowhere near the same level as a 300. Like, the 300's the better jack-of-all-trades ship. But then, I don't know. It just felt like, yeah, it was a jack-of-all-trades, but, like, it wasn't good at anything then, you know?
Right. And sometimes you'll lose to an Aurora in one-on-one combat, which probably shouldn't happen too much. Well, unless the Aurora pilot's way better.
It's fine if you lose to Aurora. I've seen Auroras take out Super Hornets. That's fine. But like it shouldn't have an advantage over a 300 in terms of like mechanics.
Yeah.
Which a lot of them feel like they do right now, unfortunately. I don't know. I wonder what they're going to do to balance it. You have any ideas?
I think when they start implementing like engine size stuff more and engine output, I think the Aurora is going to be a lot less capable of fielding so many weapons. And I think same thing is going to kind of happen to like the Super Hornets, where you aren't going to be able to put 6 laser cannons or whatever on your Super Hornet.
Aww.
And like just be able to just constantly fire and do that kind of stuff.
The fire rates are probably going to go way down. Like, I feel like a lot of people just hold down the triggers right now.
Right.
And when they start doing the weapon damaging and the overheating, that'll start to skew some of that, because people will be breaking their weapons and then realize, oh, I can't hold the trigger down constantly. Damn, I actually have to pay attention to the heat indicator.
Right. And I imagine that as, time to kill gets longer, the Aurora is going to be a little more survivable because it's faster, especially like thinking long term when the game actually comes out,
Mm-hmm.
then it's going to make a lot of sense for the Aurora sometimes to just be like, I don't need to be in this fight, like
You mean the 300?
or 300, I'm sorry. Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. I don't really need to be in this fight. I'm faster than everyone here. I'm just going to leave. I
Well,
have cargo and
that's the
you
thing
know.
is a lot of I think the Gladius is the same speed, right? So are they going to increase the speed of the 300 to be slightly faster in Gladius?
I don't know about that. That's a good point. I thought the 300 was a little faster than the Gladius, but I could be wrong.
I thought the Gladius won 320 and the 300 won 320, but I'm not sure on that.
I
So
can't remember.
my whole thing about the 300 series is I feel they're a little too squishy. Like I feel like they need to have a higher hull, especially in the front. Like
Yeah.
backside I think is fine, but the front it seems way too squishy.
Yeah, if you get hit in the front of that ship, you're pretty much dead.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm assuming that'll change with better damage states and
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Let's see. What else were they talking about? Oh, Ilphonic was mentioning they had a sniper rifle with a charged shot, which made me think of like the Covenant sniper rifle from Halo,
Yeah.
where you hold it down and then, or like the sniper rifle in Jedi Academy where you hold it down, it does more damage.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. I like that mechanic.
Yeah. So it adds that one hit shot kills, but you have to hold it. I think that's much better than having a sniper rifle that's just point and click and kill, like a lot of the games have.
Yeah.
Granted, that's more realistic, but also games in general have always done snipers, which they made sniping way too easy.
Yep.
Because in general, when you're playing a sniper in a game, you don't have to worry about wind. You don't have to worry about
Your breath, holding your breath. Yeah.
Exactly. So like, if the way they can balance that is to make a charge shot, that's better. Although I wonder if they're going to come out with a ballistic sniper eventually as well.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, I like both. I like having the options, whatever feels better. Because I mean, personally, there were times when I was playing Halo where I preferred the Covenant sniper over the human one, and just because it felt more natural to me. I don't know.
I don't know.
So.
I always preferred the human weapons in general over the Covenant weapons.
Oh, for the most part, yeah.
The only Covenant weapon I really enjoyed was the plasma pistol, and that was just for taking down shields to do the noob combo or the other word combo.
You didn't like the carbine? You didn't like the Covenant carbine?
If I didn't have a battle rifle, it was fine. But like battle rifles are just so much better.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Let's see. They also mentioned on Austin they were doing the Stanton system. They were adding a landing zone to that. One of the ones he mentioned was like a Cloud City-esque landing zone. And like as soon as he said that comparison, I'm just like, yeah, but we got Cloud City, it kind of ruined it for me a little bit,
Yeah. I don't know. On the one hand, I kind of agree with you, but on the other, that's a pretty reasonable type of station because I mean we've already talked about putting that kind of thing on Venus. Because the atmosphere is so thick, it's really easy to prop up a station in its atmosphere. Because there's just so much pressure underneath it, it'll hold it up.
Right.
So that I don't know. Well, it depends on how realistic it is. If it's just a space station in the sky to have a space station in the sky,
right?
Then that's kind of dumb. But if it actually has a reason, whereas it's like a dense gas planet or something like that, then yeah, that's cool.
I don't know. Part of what you were saying kind of convinced me that yeah, it has room, but the other part of me is like, yeah, but it's just a carbon copy of Bespin. Who gives a crap? I don't know. I'm so torn on it.
How it plays out.
Even with the shield helicarrier, I'm just like, it's just a floating.
Would it be more fun if we started a cult and then had everybody go to this station one day and I'll just jump off at the same time,
like a mass suicide. Instead of drinking Kool-Aid, this is and then it's a yearly event too, and there's a party and balloon animals and people set up vending things for the mass suicide.
That'd be awesome.
Oh man. But then there's that one jackass who equipped a parachute, right?
Right.
or a jetpack or something, and like
Yeah.
everybody jumps, but then like 2 seconds later he flies back up with his jetpack and then lands. What, you guys weren't wearing jetpacks? That's crazy. What are you thinking, man? You could die.
That you might have just taken my idea there. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping you'd be the cult leader. I don't want that responsibility.
Man, I would make a great cult leader, except for the fact that like, that's way too much effort. Like brainwashing people that you know are stupid is just way too much effort.
It's too easy.
Yeah.
It's not worth your time.
It's not worth.
It's not that you're lazy.
Well, and I hate being around stupid people. So like, why would I subject myself willingly to people that are so easily to like manipulate that I can convince them to jump off of a floating sky platform?
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Anyway, so there were other things mentioned for Spectrum News, but it was just largely a update on stuff we'd already talked about. So blah.
Yeah.
So one of the people that had submitted a user video did racing with a show off submitted by Amiga Kid, which I gotta say this was one of my favorite ones that was submitted, just because of the dickish awesome nature of doing a 360 spin after passing somebody on a racetrack. That's just like
so funny.
Yeah, that's wow.
This was one of the best ones so far. I think it's gonna be hard to top this because that's just hilarious.
Well, I really like the golf one too.
The golf one was good.
Yeah, so this one's
This one is really good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
I was waiting to see some more racing videos. I actually kind of like it in a way. Like I like watching people do it, but nobody plays it anymore.
Well, it's because it's not really that fun. I mean,
No.
there's only one track, and like nobody follows. Like my problem with the racing is nobody actually follows the track. They're always cutting through like buildings and crap.
Right.
Like if they were forced to follow the track, I would have way more interest in doing the racing. But like people do, like, oh, they skim between these buildings here, and then they go. I don't like that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
We also had Ship Shape with Lisa Ohanian. She was interviewing Elwin this week talking about ship components. So we got a little bit more information about the various components that go into the ship. So that's like shields, coolers, power plants, radars, ballasts, ammo boxes, etc. I think he said there was like 12 different types currently.
Nice.
Overall goal with ship components is to make them share certain features and looks so that they're easily recognizable by players. So like coolant system looks like a coolant system, a shield generator looks like a shield generator. You can tell just by looking what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, they mentioned there are 4 size categories. Apparently there were like 12 originally, but now they're going down to 4. So you got like small, medium, large, huge. Huge being like capital Idris sized ships, and small being like a Merlin,
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested to see, like, when it's all fleshed out, what the level of customization is going to be, because they talked about having like multiple shield generators, multiple power plants, different types of each. If your ship has 3, it can have 3 different types, and you can performance enhancement. But at the same time, I don't want it to be such a level that like new people or people that don't play a lot are severely gimped against people that have like customized the hell out of it. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't mind minor advantages to having like an enhanced, let's say, cooling plant. Like let's say you can fire an extra 2 or 3 shots compared to someone who doesn't have that enhanced one.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you're just holding down the trigger or something like that, then I'm totally fine with it. And there's there's something kind of fun about min-maxing a little bit, but you can't go overboard with it.
But if it gets to the point where if you don't have this, you can't possibly compete, I don't like that.
Yep, I'm right there with you on
that. That's pretty much it. I mean, you got anything you wanted to talk about with the ship components?
No, I mean it's. I'm glad we're getting a little bit of an update on it because I've been kind of curious about it for a while. They haven't really talked about it too much in a couple months.
I'm sure they'll come out with like a huge design post, like they always do, with these are the 12 types of components, these are the sizes, these are the various companies, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
We also had James interviewing associate writer Adam Weiser. Currently, he's working on Squadron 42 dialogue. He works on the dispatches, the ship manufacturer language. The favorite of all those is the booty call pirate dispatches. He also likes the Explorer journals. I like that they call it booty call.
That is
I
funny.
don't know. That just makes me smile.
It is clever.
Yeah. Nothing else to say about that, really.
No. Yeah.
It's just like, that made me smile a little bit. Good job,
It's the
guys.
simple things in life.
Yeah. So with his job, a lot of what he works on is doing researching and writing to make sure everything is consistent. He doesn't want to introduce something that goes specifically against previously established lore or anything like that. Also, he's been helping with a lot of the planning that they need to do. They need to have so many pages of dialogue, how long that's going to take, etc. And one of the things he's been helping with is the character dialogue for Squadron 42, which I was kind of interested in because he'd mentioned, okay, we've got all these various characters and maybe they haven't said a lot, but you don't want the generic, excuse me? What are you doing?
Can I help you?
Can I help you? You're not authorized to be here.
That's the worst.
That one, I swear to God, in like every FPS game, you're not authorized to be here.
Yeah, well, my gun says I am.
Boom. What was that?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh,
You
man.
have a hole in your head. Can you talk through it?
Yes, you can. Oh, you're talking about the new one you added? No.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, there's also the Tavaran race is one of the ones he's most interested in writing story-wise, so hopefully he gets to write that. I don't know. Like, it seems like they're mentioning Tavaran more than anybody else at this point. I kind of want to. I want to know more about the Jean or Xion or Vanduul or Banu.
I know. I'm kind of like a Xion fanboy or Jean, whatever. I still need to post on the forums to get an official response to how are we supposed to pronounce it because everyone pronounces it differently. Anyway, but they're like my race. Like they're the ones that I'm like, oh, I love all the designs of their ships and seem kind of cool to me. I don't know.
Well, I don't know enough about the Banu to make I don't feel like we've gotten a ton of information about them, or if we did, I just didn't learn it.
No, we've got basically none.
Yeah, so maybe the Banu are the coolest race ever. We just don't freaking know.
Right.
Tavaran, there's war, but how much do we really know about them?
Right.
Vanduul, I think we know the most about.
Yeah.
We see their ships and we fight them and all that stuff. So. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would assume with all this new Tavaran news coming out, it's probably becoming a bigger part of Squadron 42, like dealing with them, and
I don't know.
Maybe you gotta, help some Tavaran refugees.
Yeah. The refugee mission that every freaking flight simulator has in the history of flight sims. Yep. Where it's, there are these transports flying from point A to point B, or nav point A to nav point B, and you have to protect them. And look, the pirates have come in. You need to ensure that 100% of the convoy escapes, and yeah.
Right, because they're all refugees, and
yeah,
can't have them die.
Secondary objective is to capture the so-and-so's ship, blah, blah,
Right.
It's the same mission that all of them have. So, I hope they don't have it, honestly. I hate those freaking missions.
No, they will.
Yeah, they totally will. And as soon as it happens, I'm going to be like, oh, fuck, another escort mission. Every MMO always has escort missions. They're always, the least fun missions of all of them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, so cool. Adam Weiser working on dialogue and dispatches. Yeah. Good job, guy. Yeah. They had Subscriber Corner. As not being a subscriber, it's hard to get enthusiastic about Subscriber Corner.
Wait, what? Are you? Come on, man.
I'm just saying. Preferencing
this entire segment of Around the Verse that has nothing to do with, 65% of the people who play this game.
It's got to be higher than that.
I think it is. I can't remember how many people actually subscribe. It's not very high.
It's got it. I would be surprised if even 20% of the population subscribes, honestly.
Yeah.
The one thing they did mention, though, was the personal lockers are in design phase. So with that, they're talking about where are these personal lockers going to be located? Are they going to be in the hangars? Are they going to be on the ships? What's the size going to be? What kind of weapons or equipment can you store in them? That type of thing. So that was kind of interesting to hear that they're looking into. But everything else, I didn't really care about the flare challenges or all that junk. I don't.
I mean, as
Yeah.
long as I can like decorate my locker in like hentai pinup girls, we're fine. That's all I care about.
You know, hentai pinup girls aside, I wonder if they could add like a blank thing that you import a photo into, and then
Oh my
anybody who comes into your hangar would download and see the photo. You know,
I
mean,
really hope they do something like that.
oh God, I could see like going into your hangar and having it be like a magical girl paradise with like hearts and rainbows and like Madoka Magica posters and crap like this.
I would totally troll people so hard.
I know you would totally do it too. Like it would be one of those things like the first time you enter your hangar and people are like, okay then, wow.
Just like they open it.
You know, after a while
react,
you get used to
it.
After a while they just get used to it and they're like, all right, whatever.
Like oh, it's right. It's paper thin. That's the kid with the Sailor Moon wand in his locker.
So freaking weird. See, I would always go with. I can tell you right now exactly what I would put in because it's the same thing I do with like every type of game like this. I'd have like a red and black theme for a color scheme, and then like try and do like cool looking action posters everywhere and that type of thing. But like, you know, it makes me wonder what the level of customization is actually going to be.
Yeah, your inner troll just isn't as strong as mine.
Well, that's because I as much as it would make me laugh every time I go to your hangar to see like pink flowery magical girls with like fan service posters and crap like that, like as much as that would make me laugh, it's not something I would want to be subjected to every time I log into a game. Like I would want to log into the game into like an environment that I would think would be awesome to be in, you know?
Oh, I totally get that. I just I can't help myself.
Well, it's the same thing like people who play MMOs are like, oh, if I'm looking at a character's ass, I want it to be a female character's ass, so they make female characters, that type of thing, because they're always, you know, looking from behind, and that general, or it's like, if I'm looking at a character, I want it to look badass, and I'm like, I couldn't care less what my character looks like, frankly, I just don't want it to be weird.
Yeah, and I want to be weird, so it works out.
I'm just imagining like what your hangar looks like now. Like you're like the weird hentai anime. You're not a brony.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination, but still like that same line of crap where it's like this weird cutesy, high color palette crap everywhere.
But I only do it to troll. I don't do it because I actually like it. Well, no. For the most part.
You like it in that it makes you laugh.
Exactly.
That's the problem. You don't like it because you actually like this is what you would actually do. You like it because it makes you enjoy the reaction it imposes on yourself and others.
Exactly.
Yeah. But like, oh God, which I think is what half of the bronies are. Honestly, is they want that reaction from people.
Oh yeah, they're just a bunch of trolls from like the Something Awful forums who are just coming in and just being like, "Yeah, I'm a brony, losers."
Oh man. We were talking about subscriber, right? I don't remember. We got a tangent about bronies and Madoka Magica and all that.
This is what happens when we change our format.
Yeah. I feel bad for people now. So then the outro this week was the 300 series free fly. They were talking about, you know, having the update and rebalance. We mentioned that previously. Sneak peek this week was an FPS helmet for Zero G.
Yeah.
Looked like the red team, and they look so good.
They do look really good. I thought those were really cool.
Oh man, so good. I want to, like, because we were releasing this late, they also released some images for next week that we'll talk about too, of like the full body suits and like the 2 different team colors and all that stuff. So
yeah,
they look really good.
I can't wait. Yeah, I saw the suits as well, and they did look good.
I like that they've made the color scheme more distinct too, so it's easier to tell what team you're on. Because when they were showing the footage from, what was that, PAX? No. When did they show the Zero G combat? Do you remember? It might have been
PAX Australia.
Yeah, it might have been PAX Australia. But like everybody was white, and it was hard to tell what team they were on, and like you'd have to hover over. So hopefully they do something similar like that for the Star Marine too when that comes out.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about those suits because I thought they really looked familiar. So we'll get to that when we get to it.
All right. I'm now interested to see what this familiar suit looks like too. I don't know. So FPS update this week. Blah blah blah. We have different sites for you to vote on. Blah blah blah. Here's our list of blockers.
There's already a winner. I saw it. It's
yeah.
nice.
It's the
one I would've
ACOG, right?
picked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one that's the. It's
Or,
not
well,
the
was it
red
the
dot.
ACOG? It's the iron sight that has a red dot in the middle of it.
Okay.
So no, I don't think it was the ACOG.
I would have gone with ACOG.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't really honestly care so long as like the site makes sense. Like
It looks
red,
good.
the red dots are okay, but like, I don't know.
I don't like them either. I've always been a big fan of that little triangle in Call of Duty. I
Really?
like that. Yeah, I like that scope. I can't remember what it's called.
I don't either.
Eh. Moving on.
Moving on. Well, yeah. So FPS update was more of this is why I don't like the FPS updates, because it's just more of we're not done and this is what's outstanding. We know there's a lot outstanding. I don't really care until it's fixed. You know.
Right. Can it be August yet?
Oh,
Maybe we'll have the game then.
I don't think it's gonna be August.
No,
I think
probably not.
Maybe late August, but even then, it's going to do the rollout release, so I'm not going to see it until September or October.
Right.
Yeah. You might see it. You'll probably see it a couple of weeks earlier before I do.
Yeah, maybe.
Then we had 10 for the producers, episode 9. So for this one, there's nothing. It was with Darian and Eric, and I don't really want to highlight any specific question, because every week we go through these questions. We're like, asked before, this has been answered before. Who cares?
Right.
This is a stupid question. I mean, let's be real here. 90% of the time, that covers most of what's in the 10 furs, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I guess the highlights this week would be, hey, how do we get your job? What do we have to do to get your job? What does your job entail?
Right.
Those are the questions.
So if you're interested in that, go watch it. Or if you're interested in trying to get like a job in basically anything Star Citizen related, they'd cover a lot of that this week. So
yeah, like 3D environment artists, you know,
producers,
how to be
managers.
A producer, time frames, you know.
Yeah.
Follow
your dreams, kids.
Follow your dreams. Do what you want to do, as long as you follow your dreams.
That's the long and short of it.
Yeah, they did mention some stuff on like fighting feature creep and iteration process and all that too, but that, like we said, answered before. Right. So yeah,
I think. Was there anything in here? There was one that I kind of thought was interesting. Oh, the merging of Arena Commander and Star Marine, but that was kind of a no duh kind of thing. Like why they did it early instead of later. Like it's like, well, it's easier if you rip the Band-Aid off now.
Well, especially when you got like multiple bug fixes going on and all that junk. You don't have different versions. It's always better, because otherwise you can have differences between versions, which
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
So that was the only question that I thought was kind of interesting.
So like from a developer standpoint, I'll give you, like, for anybody who's not familiar with software development in general, is like you have these certain things that you need to check every time you do a test. So, like, for example, let's use an ATM example. Withdrawing, depositing, transferring, those are the three main things you do with an ATM.
Sure. Yeah.
So, like, every time there's a new version of an ATM, you need to test that those things work, plus all the other, 90 million functions that you've got. So if you have one ATM, you do tests for those three things. So it's, we'll say it's just 3 tests, right?
Sure.
When you have 2 ATMs, then you have to do 6 tests, because it's 3 for each.
Right.
So like in terms of scalability, every time you have different versions of things, you're doing twice as much work, which is why they need to merge them.
That's a good way to put it. I like your analogy.
Yeah. It's almost like I do this shit for a living.
Almost.
Yeah, almost. Anyway. So there you go. That's 10 for the producers, episode 9.
Hooray.
Slow clap, humanity, slow clap. So we also got OP.NET due diligence. So this was the dispatch for mercs. So, talking about merc jobs and some of the issues that go along with them. So anybody who's interested in being a mercenary, which is, I think, you and me, right? Like, we talked about doing some merc missions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be mostly mercenary, so.
Yeah. I mean, I'll run cargo every now and then, but, like, if it's profitable. That's my thing. I'm going to do what's fun first, and if it's more profitable to lead to higher fun, I'll do that stuff too, like running cargo or whatever.
Yes.
So OP.NET Due Diligence, they had a couple of missions they mentioned, like the Professor Audra Zupan. She wanted to have an escort from Raytor to Brana, protection detail, and it sounded like it was kind of a lower end. You're not going to make as much, and it's like privately financed, so look out, you know. But at least she's being straightforward about it.
Right.
That to me is like an example of a mission you might get from like a player, starting out low NPC type mission where, it's not really something big or grandiose.
Right. You get a job on Terra,
Right.
or or one of the big planets, so it's like a pretty safe job, but it doesn't pay well. But hey, you're probably not going to get raided by pirates.
Right. Well, it sounded like they were going through like lawless systems, but whatever,
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna hire a mercenary to travel from like this well UEE protected area to another well UEE protected area,
Right, that's true.
Then they also had the Yushi Corporation. They are tired of their water shipments being raided, so they're hiring people to protect them. And payment is dependent upon performance. If your shipment makes it, you get so much money. If you're attacked while you're en route, you get so much money. If you capture one of the people that are attacking, you get even more money, that type of thing. So that's cool. I like that there are scalable rewards.
Yes. You know what it reminds me of? One of my all-time favorite games, MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries. Remember that game?
Yeah.
Did you play that?
Yeah. Well, no, I think I played it a little bit at a friend's house, like a mission or two. That was the one with the spider mechs everywhere, and you top out and have all that issues. I played 4, which is MechWarrior Vengeance. I played that one the most, which did have scalable rewards in that as well. So
yeah, 2 was a little more intricate than 4. But
that was my impression too. Like I enjoyed 4, but it didn't seem like it was as intricate as the games before it. It was meant to be more of a easy to get into.
Yeah, 4 was a lot more streamlined and didn't quite give you as many weird, like salvage options and customization of mechs was different too.
Yeah, it's just and mission ends. You captured this stuff. Here you go. It's not. Yeah.
Right. Whereas MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries was like dynamic. It's like, all right, you killed this many mechs, and it randomizes the salvage you get out of them, which was super cool. So I hope it's somewhat like this in Star Citizen. It sounds like it will be.
Yeah, especially if like you get attacked by mercenaries and you like not only you capture them and get a reward for them, but then you get to keep like the ships that you captured as well.
Oh God, I know.
That's one thing I want to do in this game is go into Vandal space specifically to steal Vandal ships.
Heck
like,
yeah.
You get the lightning bombers. You get not the lightning bombers. What do they call the Vandal bomber? Because the lightning is the military UE ship.
The Cleaver?
Was it the Cleaver?
I don't remember. They're all like blade names.
It's the Vanguard variant. Yeah. Like the Vanguard equal. Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about.
Get that ship. Get a couple of Reapers and Scythes and so forth, and eventually get a carrier to put it all on. That would be my goal. Like they just look cool. I don't care if they're worse than the UE ships. They just look cool.
They do. I agree. And I love the HUD. I hope the HUD stays mostly the same.
I hope you can customize the HUD back to be a Vandal HUD.
Oh, that'd be so sweet.
Yeah. Like you undo all that UE stuff and just roll with the Vandal and have to learn the Vandal language,
I'd totally do that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that would be my overall goal is to get the Vandal ships, though. Like, I kind of view them as I do, like, the Klingon ships versus the Federation ships from Star Trek. The Klingon ships look way cooler than the Federation ships. The Federation ships are just giant saucers with giant nacelles and look kind of ugly, frankly, for the most part. Yeah. Like, Klingon ships, you got the Bird of Prey, you got the Vorchov battle cruisers, you got all that stuff.
Yeah, they do look better. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The Federation have like the lamest ships in the galaxy.
Like, certain ships look cool. Like Defiant was cool, but that didn't have the giant nacelle tips. I mean, it still had the giant nacelles, but they were built in. Yeah. The Voyager was okay, but it still had the weird giant nacelles. I mean, but you compare those to like the Romulan Warbird or the Klingon Bird of Prey, nowhere near as cool looking.
exactly.
Yeah. I digress. I went on a tangent there. Then the last thing they mentioned from the due diligence was the Santoya, the guy who was Santoya. He made a contract with I forget which company, but essentially he got screwed over by the contract and was like led to believe he'd be on a really nice planet, and he got stuck in like a mine planet in the middle of nowhere where he had to be underground all the time, and it was depressing and sucked.
Hooray!
So, that I hope that doesn't happen where like you get screwed over by contracts and then you have to become an outlaw. Although
That would be weird.
I don't know. There should be.
Are we gonna have to like read contracts like we're actual like
Oh man,
lawyers?
no.
Like...
I don't even read the license agreements I get on my freaking Apple updates. Come on. South Park made an episode about that.
Nice.
Where it's like Kyle accepts an agreement for the Apple update, and like he ends up selling himself to become part of the new Apple Human Centipede.
Oh god.
Where it's a human centipede.
Oh god.
You know that movie?
Yeah.
But it's like Apple's new version where like they use the humans that didn't read the contract to make a human centipede, and it like powers their new device.
Oh my god.
It's the weirdest shit ever. But
well,
the whole point is nobody reads these stupid contracts, and you know, and everybody's going to Kyle, you didn't read the contract, dude? He's like, no, I never read them. I can't believe you don't read those. Nobody does, you know?
Yeah. Nice.
You don't know what you're agreeing to.
Well, it'll be interesting. I wasn't quite sure what kind of point they were trying to make here. Like, read your contracts carefully, I guess.
I don't know. My hope is that, like, even if you do get screwed over by a contract, you can, like, eventually legally work your way out of it.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. We'll see. Worst case, I become a pirate outlaw who, you know, captures military stations and then throws the captives onto a planet where they get killed by lava, as we mentioned earlier.
That's just horrible, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. So that was pretty much it for this week's Star Citizen news. Nothing major coming out, although 1.1.5 or wait.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah,
1.1.5,
yeah.
Or is it 1.15?
No, I think it's 1.1.5.
Okay.
I think.
Anyway, that patch is coming out. I think it's already come out this week, actually.
I think it's on the PTU, yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in next week's episode, which is Wednesday, so we'll talk about that in 4 days. Yeah. So other than that, non-Star Citizen news, we got some stuff listed here. I'm just going to mix up the order from what we got. So, Pluto, there are pictures of. Sweet.
Yeah, it looked very cool.
Yeah. Nice to finally have non-grainy, black and white half images of it.
Yeah, and we should get some even better pictures, you know, as time goes on. You know, it takes a long time to send that much information.
Yeah.
That long of a distance, so
that's pretty cool. Real-life space news and exploration.
Yeah, very cool.
It'll really suck in like 100 years when humanity's wiped out and we really haven't done anything beyond this, but, you know.
But hey, that satellite will still be out there, so, you know.
That's cool. Aliens will be, like, downloading the JPEGs going, oh, this is interesting. Weird. All right.
All right.
I guess all of humanity was really into photography, because that will be the only context.
Well, yeah, if they ever get here and find one of our smartphones, they're going to be like, what is wrong with these people? All they do is take pictures of themselves.
Those will not last at all. The satellites will last. So, you know, anything that's on the memory banks up there, they'll find, which will be like an image of some dude taking a dick pic and sending it to his girlfriend or something. And then that will be the context for all of humanity and all of our society. That's how apparently,
we'll go down.
Yeah, apparently thousands of years ago, when the human race still existed, it was popular to take pictures of one's genitals and send them to your significant other. This is known as the mating dance behavior of humanity.
You know, that reminds me,
term for it.
Have you ever seen the movie The Mating Rituals of the Earthbound Human?
Oh yeah, with Carmen Electra and the other guy nobody's heard of.
Yeah, that's a good movie though.
Oh yeah, it's all done from like an alien racist perspective on mating habits of humanity and why they're all fucked up and weird.
Yeah, I really like that movie.
The thing I remember most from that movie is every time like there was an incident involving sexual activity, they'd have the dudes in like sperm costumes running down the racetrack.
Yes.
And like when it was a condom or something, they'd all run into this wall and get stopped.
Yes.
But then it was like the blowjob one, and there was like no finish line or anything for them to do. They all just look at each other like, What's going on?"
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. I like that stuff. It made me laugh. Let's see. Otherwise, so San Diego Comic-Con was going on. Lots of interesting things out of that. We saw Deadpool leak trailer, which made me pretty hopeful for the movie. I gotta say, like,
Yeah, it looked good.
I'm glad it's rated R. I'm
Yes.
glad that there's comedy to it. Now I just need to see it to really form an opinion.
Right.
But I'm hopeful given what they've shown so far.
Yeah, it looked like they weren't gonna pull any punches. I hope so. Here we go. Here's hoping.
Yeah, I like the darker the humor, the more I'll like it, because that's
Exactly.
just me.
Yeah, me too. So
We have a Suicide Squad leak trailer, and I love how they were all
Yeah.
like, "How dare you all leak our trailer? Here's a good version of it." 2 days later,
it's just dumb. It's like everything that's gonna be shown at Comic-Con is gonna be leaked.
Yeah,
All
and
of it.
anybody who's not a moron realizes that this is a total publicity stunt on their part, where they're like, "Oh, we're gonna fight all these leaks by showing the real." You wanted to show the real version all along. Don't even start.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was kind of meh on this. By the
Yeah.
way, I don't know.
I
didn't really care for it.
Yeah, I wasn't excited by it, and then they had the weird Joker with Jared Leto, which I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of I don't know. I need to see more, but so far I'm unimpressed by his Joker.
Same here.
I feel bad saying that because it's hard to judge, but so far, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of people said the same thing about Heath Ledger, and a lot of people said the same thing about Jack Nicholson. So,
That's true.
we'll see. They also had Ant-Man came out this week for movies. I haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen it either.
I haven't really been paying attention to reviews either. But a lot of the people are like, "Oh, this is a great movie." Other people are like, I don't really like it. So.
Well, it's Ant-Man. It's kind of a fringe Marvel character, to be honest.
Yeah, but he's a member of the Avengers. So
Yeah.
that's why they're doing him. I mean, if that's the problem with the Avengers is there are so many characters that you really don't care about, but because they're in the Avengers, you're supposed to care about them.
Right.
Like Ant-Man and Wasp, don't
Right.
really care about them all.
No.
I am more interested in the Black Panther T'Challa movie
Yes.
than I am them. That's a way more interesting character to me. But
Right. Well, and it also kind of sucks. They have to reboot Spider-Man again, work him into the Avengers. And I was so kind of upset because I really liked the newest
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Ugh. Anyway.
There's no reason they couldn't reuse him.
Right.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh well. It was much better than Tobey Maguire.
Oh God, so much better.
I remember when back in the day, I think it was in high school. We were at some movie and our group of friends, and you and I had saw the trailer for the upcoming Spider-Man, and I was just kind of like, eh. But you guys were all like, "Oh, dude, it's Spider-Man! This is so exciting!" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're gonna make it suck." And then I kind of ate my words because I thought the first movie wasn't bad, frankly. The first.
Yeah.
The first one, Toby, and I was like, all right, I was wrong. They can do a good job. And the second one, was a fairly solid movie too. But then they did the third one, and I felt completely vindicated in every sense of the word.
So
vindicated.
freaking horrible.
Well,
so bad.
They fall into that trap a lot of them do, where they have too many villains.
Yeah.
And then the story suffers because you can't really explore any of them. And then you got emo Spider-Man with wow.
Well, it was just and Brock was fucking that kid from that 70s show.
Topher Grace, yeah.
Topher Grace, yeah, thanks.
Not a real intimidating presence.
No.
Yeah.
It's the complete opposite of what he was. They completely changed Venom, and that's one of my all-time favorite characters. So it was just,
they didn't need Sandman. They could have removed Sandman, had just the arc with Hobgoblin.
Yes.
And Venom. Right. And I thought it would have been better had as Venom he put Hobgoblin in the hospital or some crap.
Yes.
Instead of just scarring him. Seriously, he should have died.
Yes.
or something along those lines, and that would be the catalyst for Parker to then fight Venom, who inhabits Brock and tries to kill the symbiote and all that stuff. So
exactly.
But I'm not a Hollywood movie executive or director or producer or writer, so what do I know?
No, you were not.
Yeah. Let's see, what else? That was pretty much it movie-wise, except there was also the Attack on Titan trailer that came out. And I know this is gonna sound bad, but like the whole time I'm watching the Attack on Titan trailer, I'm like, every single character they've got is Japanese, but the whole point behind Attack on Titan is that Japanese people have all but died out except for Mikasa, you know?
Pretty much,
So,
yeah.
so like from a story perspective, I'm like, I understand there's a difference between the book and the movie, and it's produced by a Japanese company, but like, people always complain that they don't have a lot of, like, anytime they put a bunch of Japanese actors in a Chinese movie or Chinese actors in a Japanese movie, people are all up in arms, right? Like Memoirs of a Geisha, there were so many Chinese actors in that movie, people were pissed, right?
Right.
But like, they do the same thing with Attack on Titan, where the source material is pretty like, oh, there used to be these people in Japan, but they've all died out, and it's a mix of European descent people for the most part, and then you have like one Chinese character or one Japanese character with Mikasa,
Right.
and like she's an oddity, and that because of that oddity, it works with the story.
Yep.
I mean,
nah, I'm right there with you on that.
the character's main character's name is Eren Yeager. How many Japanese guys have the name Eren Yeager, for God's sakes? That's the only thing I didn't like about it. But like, I at the same time I get what they're doing. It's a Japanese movie. It's going to have a Japanese cast, So
Yeah.
that's kind of the.
I mean, my whole thing is I liked the Japanese dub for Attack on Titan so much. Like I thought they did a really damn good job, and the people, the actors that are in this live action one, like their voices just bother me because they're not what I expect.
They don't sound sound like them.
They don't sound right, and so that's already starting to get to me, and that's gonna eat away at me when I see it. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, these voices.
Yeah.
I want to hear the right Mikasa. God dang it.
Well, like that's the thing with me. Like if you're gonna copy a source material, I feel like you should make the effort to match that source material. It's like when Avatar came out that M. Night Shyamalan did, and like he had all these white actors playing Eskimos, and I'm like, dude, come on, there are enough Native American or Eskimo actors that you could have found people, but you got like the whitest white kid playing, the Sokka, and you've got, all of the Fire Lord people, instead of being Japanese or Chinese, are all Indian now suddenly, and it's like, okay.
I mean, like, why M. Night Shyamalan for that movie? First of all, like, this guy's notorious for doing like horror suspense movies.
I read why. So his kids were huge fans of the show.
Oh, okay.
And so he's like, "Oh, that's cool," and he's like, "Oh, this isn't a bad show. I should, really push to make this a movie that I direct and control and ruin."
God. Oh man.
So the twist was he ruined the movie.
That's the twist.
That's the twist. There's always a twist with M. Night Shyamalan.
That's good. I like that.
You're welcome. I don't know, but like, I guess that's the only part that bothers me. Like.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
the CGI
expect.
Looked incredible.
Oh yeah, well, I didn't like the way the Titans looked. Frankly, like they looked a little weird.
I don't know if there's any getting around that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, when I looked at them, I wasn't like, "Wow, that's an impressive, imposing, terrifying creature." I looked at it like that's a weird looking CGI representation of a human. But that's just me. Yeah. That said, I'll still watch it. I did watch like the frick, I can't remember the name. It's gonna bother me. They always come out with like those live action, like Death Note. I thought was okay when I saw that. I
haven't seen that. Yeah, I heard it's actually not that bad.
There are 2 movies for that one, and then also they did God, it's gonna bother me, but it's the one where like the 2 teenage kids die when the train hits them, and like their heads are cut off, and like then they show up and they're like forced to fight to kill aliens by Gast. Was it Gat? Damn it, I can't remember. Gantz.
Oh, Gantz.
Yeah, they made a live action of that too, which wasn't bad.
Did they really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't like the anime that much, to be honest. I thought it was okay, but
yeah, I don't know. It's one of those I watched when I had a ton of free time and was unemployed.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, that's movie news.
Right. Well, so I guess I finished Gungrave. I did it, guys. I did it.
Yay! Only took you 5 years after I first recommended you watch it. No, it's got to be longer than
And
5 years
then another
now.
like 3 weeks after after I said I was gonna finish it.
I'm trying to think of when I first recommended that
Well,
to
it
you
came
because
out in 2003, so God only knows when you actually recommended it to me.
I watched it in college.
Yeah.
We graduated high school in '03, and I watched it in college. And then I think I recommended it to you sometime in college. So,
Probably. It's
you know,
probably been 8 or 9 years.
yeah, about yeah. So, what you think?
I liked it. I was getting a little worried leading up to the end.
Oh
It was
yeah,
starting to kind of drag,
yeah.
and I was getting really sick and tired of the main character constantly making dumbass decisions. I was like, why would you ever do that?
Don't do it.
But it all came together pretty well, and and the ending wasn't exactly what I thought it would be. I knew it was going to be depressing. I mean, there was just no getting around that. But there was also kind of a bittersweetness to it, which I appreciate. I really like bittersweet endings. So
It's such a weird relationship between the two main characters, Brandon and Harry, where it's
yeah,
like you've got Brandon is the super loyal, super badass dude who's super not really talkative, so it's hard to really relate with him. But at the same time, all of his actions you can tell go from like it might not be the best decision or the smart decision, but it's a decision he's trying to do the right thing for his friends and family.
right.
And then Harry is the well, you kind of get where he's coming from too, but at the same time, he's a dick who fucks over everybody else, you know.
Right. He
So,
knows what he wants and he'll do whatever it takes to get it.
so
You know.
I'm kind of in the position of which of these characters I appreciate more. Do I like the guy who's gonna do whatever it takes to get to the top, or do I like the guy who's gonna be, loyal? Is essentially what it boils down to. And then they kind of flip that at the end, where it's like they're kind of loyal to each other when they're, helping each other out, and they're both about to die.
Right. Well, and I mean, Harry was loyal if you were loyal to him. That was
Right.
what mattered. And Brandon was loyal to the organization because of other people in it that he respected as well.
Right.
So it really was interesting in the last episode, like, when Harry's like asking Brandon why he doesn't kill him. And it's like, well, I think, Brandon kind of realized the whole reason he was doing what he was doing was to protect people. And that meant protecting Harry, even if he didn't 100% agree with what Harry was doing.
Right.
And so I think that's why Brandon let Harry kill him, is because he wanted to protect Harry
Right.
in a way, So I thought that was really kind of interesting. It really tied it all together kind of nicely.
Yeah. Well, then they implied they die together at the end,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
don't really see it.
No, I think I like that. I appreciate those kind of up to interpretation endings.
Well, and you see like the reaction of the girl, and yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know. Like that's the thing. At least it's a complete freaking story. Like
Yes.
Berserk, which pissed me off.
Oh my god, I know.
Oh man.
Well, is the manga done with Berserk? Is that all done yet?
I don't know. I've never read the manga. Like
I don't know.
I have no idea. I know they've been coming out with the movies for Berserk, but I haven't read or watched those.
Right. The movies are starting to cover some of the manga that didn't get covered in the original TV series.
Right. And I
So,
really enjoyed the TV series. Like I thought the TV series was excellent. But then like
so good.
to end it where they ended it, where you're like, yeah, what next? It's
Right.
like, come on, dicks. Show me more.
Exactly.
Whereas like Gungrave, it's like, oh well, they're both dead, so there's no more to see. I'm not missing out on anything,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a solid 8.5 out of 10 for me. I liked it. And I would definitely recommend it. Another thing I started kind of looking into, because the series, like, God, I was just like, God, so much of this when I was watching it felt familiar. So I did some research on it, and it's made by a fairly well-known anime studio called Madhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just gonna name some of Madhouse's other animes that they've done. And so Ninja Scroll, they did that old school one. Battle Angel Alita, do you remember that? Have you seen that?
I might have, but I don't remember. What
Okay.
overview of the plot?
Cybernetic girl goes around, kicks the crap out of the robots, but it's super dystopian and dark.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Okay, well, anyway. It was made in like 1993. It's old. It was like a 3-episode OVA, I want to say. I have it on DVD.
I might have not seen it. I don't know.
So some others, Trigun,
Yeah.
which definitely rang true a lot in this. Like, I saw a lot of that in this series.
Yeah.
Black Lagoon.
Well, like Vash and Knives mirror Harry and Brandon
Yeah.
in several ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. One of your favorites, Hajime no Ippo.
Yeah.
They did that. They did the first series of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Just a ton of like really good.
Their
anime.
overall anime style, I like. I appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the thing that makes Gungrave different from a lot of those titles, it's based initially on a video game, so people don't often expect it to be then good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like people are like, "Oh, it's a video game; it's gonna suck." But then you actually watch it, and you're like, "Whoa, this is like, I'm actually invested in these characters and care what happens." You know?
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's actually strange. I mean, you're right. A lot of the video game to anime series turn out pretty poorly, but this
Right.
one was definitely up there in the better adaptations. Up there, not quite with Steins Gate. I think Steins Gate's better, but they had a lot of story to work with anyway because it's a dating sim game. But another one that was recently came out that I thought was good was Shingeki no Bahamut.
Yep.
That one was good. So
that one we've talked about. I watched the first episode, but I couldn't get into that for whatever reason. It's one of those I'll watch eventually when I have literally nothing on my plate and tons of free time.
Right.
But yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, overall, a good show. I'm glad I watched it.
Go. Let's see. I also have D&D 5.5 listed on my list here.
Oh, right. So
things to talk about.
Yeah, so I dungeon mastered a 5th edition campaign for the first time yesterday. Nerd. And it was good. I like the system. They streamline a lot of things. So instead of there being like an attack bonus and a bunch of other like kind of stats, they kind of lump it all into one stat called a proficiency bonus.
Okay.
So anything you're proficient in, you get this bonus to. So if you're proficient in a weapon, you get that bonus to the weapon. If you're proficient in a skill, you get that bonus to that skill. And even to the point where if you're proficient in a saving throw type, because of your class, you get that bonus to that saving throw.
So like warriors, berserkers,
yeah,
they get the fort, and then what mages, sorcerers get will, that type of thing.
So not quite. All of the saving throws are now stat based. So there's strength saving throws, dex saving throws, con saving throws, etc., etc. So there's 6 different saving throws now. Okay. So like for example, as a paladin, I get bonuses to my charisma and wisdom saving throws.
Okay.
Right? I can add my proficiency bonus to that. Otherwise, you just get your base stat bonus to it.
Okay.
So that's kind of nice. Skills are very streamlined now. There's only, I want to say, a dozen or 15 skills total. So like athletics now covers like,
climbing,
horseback
jumping,
riding, climbing, everything that it should cover, right? Because that it just makes a lot more sense. And stuff like that. There's no like knowledges anymore. It's kind of you either like, you have an innate, skill in it, or maybe there's still nature and religion, but
okay.
Overall I really like that. And then you pick a couple of those skills to be proficient in based on your class, and you get your proficiency bonus. But there's no like skill points every time you level to spend on them. So I kind of like that because you can't like max out at being stealth very easily. You can't like min-max real hard.
Okay.
So you can't be like, every time I roll a dice when I'm trying to roll stealth, I'm gonna roll a 40 minimum. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. It's like I'm unseeable even with a 2. Yeah.
Exactly. So instead, what happens is you get a lot more bonuses to your stats. Like there's a lot more. So like as a human, when you start out, you just get +1 to all your stats.
Nice.
Like that's what happens. And you can bypass like later on when you start leveling, like at 4th level, almost every class gets a stat increase. You can bypass that stat increase to take a feat instead. But otherwise you don't really get a lot of feats that aren't built into your class.
Okay. So it's not like any weird weird combinations of like you have a cleric with all these thief feats or anything like that.
Exactly. Yeah, they very much limit you to your role much more than previous. versions did. Some of the other cool stuff, I really like the way they do spell casting now. So you have your proficiency bonus, which gets added to your spell cast, and a lot of spells, like, Firebolt or whatever, you actually have to make an attack and hit. They don't just hit as long as the spell goes off.
Nice. That's
You know what I mean?
That's better balance.
Yeah, it really is.
So what do they deal with AoE spells?
Most of those you don't have to hit, but some of them don't take effect right away. They have a delay. So, like, there's this one that our sorcerer used called Cloud of Daggers, and so what it does is it creates a whirling cloud of daggers on one square on the map. So anybody who walks into that takes damage, but it doesn't take effect until the start of the next turn.
Ah, okay.
So there's a lot of that, but stuff like Fireball is still pretty strong because it happens pretty much right away.
Yeah.
And the AoE is, there's no attack roll for it. It just happens where you set it off.
Okay.
There's some balance there. There's some that are really powerful still, but there are other spells that you have to roll to hit with, which I think is cool.
So I mean, that's the thing that always bogs down those games is the level of detail with the rolls and like having to explain them or look them up or whatever. So it sounds like they're trying to make great strides to reduce that.
Yes, and one of the coolest things about that, now that you mention that, is, and so you know how it used to be, where if, let's say, you're going full defensive for a round, you get like +5 to your AC or something like that. Right. So the way it works now is, let's say I want to dodge for my action this round. So what happens is they have things called advantaged and disadvantaged. So if you're advantaged on something, you roll 2d20s instead of 1, and you get to pick the better one. If you're disadvantaged on something, you have to roll 2d20s, and you take the worse of the two. So it gets really interesting, like, with attacks. Like, if you're disadvantaged attacking someone because they're playing defensively, it gets a lot harder to hit them. But you can still do it. And I actually really like it because it takes a lot of the math out of it, and it makes a lot of... It just felt right. I don't know.
Okay.
It just, like it's like, all right, I cast Protection from Evil on one of my, I had a paladin NPC, and he casted Protection from Evil on one of our characters. So any attacks that an evil character made against him, they were disadvantaged on, instead of him just getting like a +1. And yeah.
Oh, that's so much better.
It makes it so much easier, and it makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh.
I'm thrilled with this system. Like, this is the best system since 2nd edition. So.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Here's the thing: a lot of people don't like 2nd edition because it's the exact opposite of this, where you have a crap ton of rules and stuff like that. So.
No, it's true. I mean, I like 2nd edition for different reasons, but you're right. There are a lot of rules in 2nd that you have to know.
In general, I'm at the stage now where I appreciate game systems if they're better for role playing, which is why I like some of the White Wolf stuff that I did, because the more descriptive you are, the better your roll bonuses would be, and the more dice you'd get used and all that stuff. Right. So like, anytime you can move towards that, I feel it's better, because like a lot of role playing with a lot of groups is just literally roll, play, roll, play. Right. So.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So. Thumbs up.
Cool.
My official review.
Your official review. I'll have to try it sometime. I don't know when we're gonna game next in a new system or anything like that, but it's a 2016 project.
Exactly.
Cool. Anything else you want to talk about?
That's all I got, man.
Yeah. I don't have anything else either. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting, though. It was like, 5 minutes after we're done, it's going to be like, we should have talked about blah, blah, blah.
Oh, fuck. Well, we've got, we could talk about it in 4 days, so.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm forgetting something. Like, Battlefront, I hear a lot of people are still pissed about.
Yeah.
Because,
bad.
Yeah. Well, and then there's some people who are like, oh, Battlefront looks awesome. Everybody's like, are you kidding?
No.
What do you like about it?
I don't know. I just don't trust EA at all anymore, so I'm just gonna watch that trash burn from a distance.
Oh man.
It's gonna be a dumpster fire.
I don't know. I'm at the stage where I just there are so many games I would like to play, but then I picked up the Witcher stuff, right? And I actually tried out Witcher 1 yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I did not like the combat system at all.
Oh really?
I did not enjoy playing it. So I might not even play Witcher 1 and just skip to Witcher 2. If I don't like the combat system in that one, I'll switch to Witcher 3, you know.
That
But
makes
like
sense though. If you don't like the combat, then you can't really play the
can't play a
game.
game that's an action game, yeah.
Yeah.
So like it didn't feel intuitive and it didn't feel like good is my overall quickie review, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't
And
play
for
it
being
then.
a BioWare game, you know, that's surprising because usually
true.
BioWare is pretty good.
That's true.
I don't know.
All right.
You got anything else? No? Yes?
That's it, dude.
That's
That's
it?
all I got.
All right, cool. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Flight Deck. We will catch you guys next week.
Peace.